What you gonna do when they come for you? You chuck it on that one, you chuck it on this one, you chuck it on your mother and you chuck it on your father, you chuck it on your brother and you chuck it on your sister, you chuck it on that one and you chuck it on me. Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you?
Hello, Masterchan. I understand you made a thread about a clip of mine I did called Pedo Filth 8. Well, hopefully you've seen all the other clips of pedo filth and you realise what filthy degenerates you really are. In fact, I would put you in the same classification as Islamic State because of the things you do. You have the same MO as Islamic State. You use various internet techniques to peddle kiddie porn, and you have the same attitude, with these refugees, going to Europe, rape the kids, and that is basically you. And looking back upon the things I've heard about Masterchan, how supposedly all the Chans had a war against Tumblr. But really, what difference is there between, say, Masterchan and Tumblr? You will complain about social justice warriors, yay. But yet, if anyone's left wing, bleeding ass socialist, it'll be you, because you're all for pedophilia. And, so why don't you just actually consider, some of you may think, oh, I'll join Masterchan, I'll be way cool, dude. But what you really stand for is actually terrorism against white nations. Much as in the same way as feminists will do everything to destroy white nations. And yet you have a go at them for being what they are, but you don't examine yourselves. I mean, really. Now let's be honest, you're not just a bunch of dumbass kids. You are adult pedophiles. I believe you might have some dumbass kids. Like this guy. But really, you're, for the most part, exactly like this guy. Basically you're just a bunch of dead shits. You go after little kids because it's a power thing for you. You can't cut it amongst any society or any section of society. What I've said on Masterchan, you have like pictures of nude kids and blah blah. But I've said a couple of pictures which really reflect more on you than anything. One was a girl about 4 years old sucking a nigger's dick. And I've made mention of this in my previous pedo filth clips, which I recommend to you. Maybe you'll see what you really are. And it was what I saw about 2, 3 days ago. It was a 4-year-old girl, white girl, and she was being molested by a refugee and there was someone taking a photo of it, most probably of the father, possibly. And this sad nigger was getting ready to mount her. 4 years old she was absolutely terrified. That's the sort of cuckoldry that Europe has descended into. And which is probably the same sort of cuckoldry that you will descend into, because as I understand it, Masterchan, half the participants are European, half the participants are North American. And Masterchan is based in the Netherlands. That's what I've last checked up on. And yet you will pull your pricks to things of this nature, and yet on the other hand you will complain about refugees coming into Europe. I think the only thing that really pisses you off is that the refugees are having first go at pre-teen kids before you. That's the thing that pisses you off. So you don't have a problem with refugees molesting children, you're just pissed off because you haven't had the first go. So there's really no salvation for you, or I don't think so anyway. But yet you by default fall into the Tumblr crowd, which hates white people. What's one of their catchphrases? It's not rape if she's white. And yet you do exactly the same thing, you follow the same thing. The only difference between Tumblr and Masterchan, and indeed the other chans, is that Tumblr has a lot of alleged women and poofters, whereas Masterchan consists of pedophiles. So really, both of you together are the scum and shit of every white society. And I don't believe that you should be allowed in general society. If I had my way, I'd probably put you all in chains and dump you in Africa somewhere. But let's look at the sort of shit that you approve of and pull your dicks to. Or they're not really dicks, they're really anorexic cocktail frankfurts. And yet, at the same time, say, oh, these niggers and sand niggers are doing this. This is wrong. Unbelievable. I mean, what a pack of losers you really are. What you call professional refugees go into Europe and just go around picking up preteen kids to have sex with, and all you've got is to look at Masterchan and pull your pricks to nudist photos. But that's not the only thing you pull your pricks to. See, I know, and let's face it, most people who can be bothered checking you out and the other chans, your Masterchan, 8chan, and 10chan, which is basically a site for linking to hardcore child pornography. So you got that, but you also got the sub-forums. One of them's called 222, and the other one's called R73, which is child pornography snuff. And like I said, you may try and portray yourselves as dumbass kids still at school, but for the most part you are not. Hey, come on. Everybody knows about Montagraph, everybody knows about JB Smeary, who are most certainly one and the same. And here's another thing, someone did a YouTube clip concerning Montagraph and gave a name for him, Dennis Kennison, or something similar. And yet, the clip page was attacked in, saying, I want a load of shit. Montagraph is only 30 years old. He's a Russian orphan. That's bullshit. And that guy was pretty much on the money as to a picture of Montagraph. The guy's about 60. I've seen someone got a picture of him. It was from a Russian identity card. Yeah, my guess it was from the late 80s, and he was about 30 years old at the time then. So to say this Montagraph is 60 years old was pretty much spot on. And yet, the Masterchan stooges, which you are, all rush to say, no, I want a load of shit, blah, 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 and use the same idioms, the same syntax. It's the same people. And I don't think, for, dumbass teenagers who say, yay, dude, I'm Masterchan, woo. I don't think they truly realise what they're involved with. People say, oh, Masterchan's just about trolling. It's just about internet bullshit, stuff like that. But 222 and R73 are not just based on rumours, pictures. Sure, let me give an example of what Masterchan perverts jack off to. So, you can't just say it's just trolling. That was only the picture I thought could be shown. There's the one where some girl's got her head cut off, and I think it's a police forensic scene photo. There are a couple of other photos of girls with their heads cut off. And people pull their pricks to that. So if you are some sort of Masterchan troll, you go to Masterchan, you go to 8chan, everybody knows that. 10chan is really just links to hardcore child porn, plus the fact that Masterchan advertises a hell of a lot of child porn. You've seen these stupid little squares, pictures, and they have some URL redirect. And I say, oh, this has been reported, has to be taken down. But from the time they appear to the time they've taken down, easily 4 or 5 hours, easy. And all it happens then is just that another one's just reposted. So if you are some dumbass punk kid you know, consider the sort of people you are mixing with. So, anyway, you know, I've decided to make this clip because some, I don't know, fuckstick called Rimbowl 123 or Ribol. Oh, I don't know. I just called a guy Eddie Munster. That's what he looks like. You know, saying that it's okay, you know, for pedophilia. He said, oh, if I want to have sex with men or women older than me, then it's okay. This guy's 15. I don't think anyone wants to have sex with him. I don't know, maybe he can draw 2 eyes and nose on him while he has a pool. But he was silly enough to do that, put a couple clips of himself, and most probably he's ended up on a police database. Ah, gee. But these things that all you dumbass kids are participating in have consequences. You don't just, you know, stick up pictures of naked under 18 kids on a website and say, oh man, I'd like to bust her little pussy, and seem to think you're going to slip the radar. You are not. And plus the fact, the people who are your chums are hardcore pedophiles in their 30s and 40s, and to probably older to some extent, you know, percentage-wise. You know, you could be the next, I don't know, photo in 220 or 222, you know, with your head on the ground or something. Yeah, but you have to consider, look, there are things that I strongly suspect with Masterchan. You know, I don't want to give too much away, but you are definitely on the radar. You know, and that could be individually, not just Masterchan website as a whole. I know Masterchan, and I know there's at least one person, I suspect more, who is connected to the Onion website called Baby Heart, which is hardcore child pornography from newborn babies to 5 years old. Anyone over 5 years old, they're over the hill as far as these perverts are concerned. And these people are psychotic. Unfortunately, I have seen a couple of their clips, and they cause absolute agony to the children, and they get off on it. These are the sort of people you are. And if the curtain comes down on Masterchan, all of you who are associated with it, you know, you might try deleting pictures and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. The IP records held by telcos will put you straight into that and will connect you. You can say, oh, I use proxies. No, proxies eventually can be broken or compromised. It's, you know, using mathematical algorithms with internet technology will will expose you rather quickly. Alright, it may take a while, but in general terms, you're toast. So, anyway, hopefully I've pointed out that, Masterchan is a bad website to be associated with. Montagraph, I'm certain he's something to do with Masterchan. I see that Masterchan is seems to be largely male, largely white. You can say certainly 99% male, 99% white. And yet they condone and advocate activities which are detrimental to their own societies, to their own race. I mean, this is just a type of internet suicide. It really is. Tumblr and the Chans, the only difference between them is that the Chans are mostly male and Tumblr is mostly female. But it's the same MO, the same aims. Destroy the white race. And the way it is in Europe at the moment, it does look like that's going to happen. You got refugees, or alleged refugees, who are just nothing more than the criminals of North Africa, and other deviants who are just expelled into Europe, doing what they want. You got basically all of Africa flooding into Europe, and just as soon as the boat lands, straight off the boat, and start raping the children, and you just pull your dicks to it. There's an old saying, take away their dignity, then take away their lives. And really, Masterchan, you're nothing more than a bunch of traitors, certainly to the white race. Am I pushing a neo-Nazi thing? No. This is a simple fact. And I suspect that you've got Jews running these websites or somehow connected. Because if you look at the Talmud, which I did a clip about, I think it was pedo filth 3A, I'm not too sure. Check it up for yourself. There are many passages in the Talmud that says it's okay to fuck children. Now the thing is, they're fucking yours. Anyway, I've said enough. Just have a shot at Eddie Munster and just give a general warning in pictures. Fuck you.